Hello, hello, hello. It is me, A Fox of the Angela Foxworth Show. That's right. It is Thankful Thursday, and y'all are in the house, okay? I am so excited. Listen, you guys know that we are live, right? We are live at 5 on Thursdays, and I'm really excited to be with you guys today. Today is definitely a topic I think that is going to be very important for you guys. I have a guest that I am very honored to have on the show, and this is going to be real interactive. Okay, so I want you guys to know that you can send a comment as much as you want, ask questions. It's going to be that kind of show because it definitely, this particular subject is timely. So I am here at Tech Genius Studios, home of the Angela Foxworth Show, right here in downtown Atlanta. And I am telling you, every week I get more and more excited about being in this studio. This is a dream come true, and I don't want to ever let you guys forget how much I absolutely love being here. So, you already know the Angela Foxworth Show is about motivation, inspiration, and education, right? So today is going to be a little bit of everything. So, we are living right now in some dark times, very challenging times to say the least. Um, we are burdened with inflation. We are burdened with, people fighting for their rights. We are, challenged with, having to make ends meet, having to do some of the things that we love to do. We're actually in those times. And so right now it's definitely critical for us to make sure that we have a sound mind. Mental health is definitely one of those subjects that have become extremely important in recent times. So tonight I have the guest that I have on my show is definitely and she is a master of her craft. I definitely can't wait for you guys to get her take on a lot of things that are going on right now, but I'm really wanting her to be on here just to provide help. She is a professional. It's one thing for me to give my opinion about things that I think, how things should be, or just my own life experiences that I share with you guys. But for the most part, it is important to have a professional to be able to speak to it. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest. And my guest is Dr. Kiba Richmond Green. How are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you, Angela?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show today. You know what, Kiba? I feel like this is a reunion.
It is. It is.
It really, really is. And I'm just so thankful that you were able to do the show today. Like I was telling the audience, it's great for me to give my opinion and to be able to talk about things that I've been able to overcome. But it's a whole nother thing to have an actual professional perspective on life, period. And this show is designed for just that. I want people to be able to, leave comments or ask questions as we get into,
Absolutely.
the subject, and I want people to know they are not alone. So the topic today, Kiba, is a whole combination of things. I
Okay.
wanted to bring, talk about people who are struggling in silence with depression, people who are
Mhm.
struggling in silence with anxiety, people who are
Mhm.
just maximally stressed out, and people who are having to overcome grief due to suicide. Suicide is on the rise right now, and it is just we're in critical times. We really are. I feel like, the term that they use a lot of times is critical mass. And that is kind of where we are with today's society. So, the first thing I want to talk about truly is depression. Um, First,
Mhm.
I really want to get to the core of why a lot of people are depressed because I literally did go through a 2 year period
Mhm.
recently, actually, coming out of trying to live this dream and the challenges that have come with that,
Mhm.
and just realized that I got overwhelmed. I don't mind telling my story because I think I must have cried every day for maybe 2 years straight. That's how
Mhm. Mhm.
affected I was. And I just could not get past the hurts and the
Wow.
things that go on. Number one, how it is depression on the rise. I know about what the media says, but I'd like to hear from the doctor.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, we're going into the holiday season, so that alone brings up depression. We've
Yes.
changed the clocks back. Like you said, I suffered depression as well, Angela, for
Mm,
years. This time of the year, we call them the winter blues, or we call them,
mhm.
seasonal depression. Um, when it would get dark early and it's
Yeah.
cold, yeah, I would hibernate literally like a
Wow.
bear. And so, really could not function at all. And so, yes, I understand. For me, depression, I define depression as past tense, right? It's
Mm,
living in the past, worried about, guilt,
yeah.
shame,
Yeah.
um, thinking about things that you regret, right? Thinking
Yes.
about things we should
Yes.
have, could have done. That's when
Yes.
depression sets in
Yes. And I
because
love
you're
that you
living in the
said
past.
that because, a lot of times we stay kind of stuck in, the realm without dealing with what the actual issue is.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so for
Absolutely.
me, it was kind of like the same thing. I did have regrets. I thought there were better
Mhm.
ways that I could have done something. And then I
Mhm.
felt like decisions I made the wrong decisions. And then I was
Yes.
starting to ponder that. And then when things would not go right, which is most times, right? That's life, right? Um,
Yes.
I would get so like just sad, feeling like
You a failure. Like you
yeah,
can't.
like
Like
I
why can't
failed.
I get it right?
Exactly.
A-
Yes.
and most of that comes from comparison. Let's just be for real. That just comes
Okay.
from comparison. We're comparing our life or our situation to other people around us or on social media or things like they seem to have it all together or they're able to make it work or their finances look better than ours, right? But
Yeah.
we don't really know the truth behind
Yeah. Yeah.
behind the screen. However, it feels like just feels like
Yeah.
I can't get this thing right. Like everything I
Yeah.
try, it's just not working. I tried it this way, it didn't work. I tried it that way, it didn't work. I switched up my friends. I switched up the plan. I switched up the way I pray. I switched up, and it's just not working, right? So
Yes.
you beat yourself up, right? Because we are our own worst critic first. And
Yes.
so, and when you have a dream and when you have a passion for something, it's really, really hard to keep feeling like you fail. Because I don't believe we fail.
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
hard to keep feeling like you're failing, and you know in your heart and in your mind what you've heard the Lord tell you, or what
Yes.
what has been prophesied to you, or what
Yeah.
I know what I want, but why I
Yeah.
just can't reach that thing, why I just can't touch that thing, why it just can't happen for me. And so I think a lot of times we do a lot of comparison, right? And so
I
that
like that you said that.
yeah, because we want to, we're people pleasers whether we know it or not. And so
Yeah.
we want to, even though we may not think we are, I don't care what people say, we actually do. And
Yeah.
it's important, even, okay, so even take people out of it, just your spouse, like you're married, I'm married, Angela.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, you know, how many times have we told our husband, this it, honey, this is going to work.
Right.
This is going to be
Okay.
big right here. I'm telling you, I can feel it, right? And
Yes.
then for it not to work, you
Yes.
feel like, oh my God, like at
You
any
feel like you
minute,
failed at it.
at any minute now, he gonna just say, you know what, like, please just stick to your
Yes.
day job because
Yes.
you keep trying all this stuff, it ain't working, and every
Yes.
time you get uber excited and you're down again. But
Yes.
I think that for people who have true gifts, and especially creative people, they
Hmm.
feel depression harder. Think about comedians, right? They really go through depression. That's why they make people
Yes.
laugh because they
Yes.
have the hardest. It's almost like we have the hardest job.
Well, you do. Just think about it. It's so funny, right? This is such an oxymoron, right? You literally get depressed, right? Because of you having to be in the limelight and you having to, make sure that you're, giving your audience what you want the audience to have. Yet you're, in a sense, it's kind of like you're having to differentiate between their validation and
Hmm.
then you being successful. And I
Absolutely.
think in my mind, that's what my issue was. So what I'm gonna say is, for me, it's never really a comparison, because, to be honest, I sit back and I try to think about, is there anybody that I truly want to be? And honestly, not really. Like, I just can't think of anybody. Now, would I want some money?
Right.
Some little extra tangibles,
Right.
maybe.
Right.
But
Right.
my issue is the feeling that I feel like I know that I know that I know, and then it doesn't pan out and do what it's supposed to do. Then I feel like I done dropped the
Hmm.
ball, and here we go back to square one. Or
Square
my
one.
thing. Yes, or I get so excited about somebody selling me a dream, right? And
Yes.
I just go with it. Look, ain't done
Yes.
no research, ain't really looked up nothing. Look, ain't done none of the drill downs to go through anything. I'm just taking them at their word, and then when it doesn't pan out, then I'm crying, I'm upset, I'm out of money, and then I'm blaming everybody else when it really should have been my issue. So I have learned in the last couple of years, where literally, I know God pulled me out of that depression, is that, number one,
Hmm.
it's not a failure. There really isn't anything as failure if you just don't keep trying. Because I feel like
That's right.
life, and especially for a creative, it is like a Rubik's Cube. You got to wait
Hmm.
and twist that thing over and over again until you find the formula that works.
Mm.
And where you start may not be where you end up. And the reason I say that is because sometimes we're so tunnel vision on what we think we need to be doing
Yes.
with our talent, and then God will take
Yes.
us in a whole nother direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's usually the plan anyway, right?
Yes.
What we think we want is not his plan for us. Let's just be honest about that. Number
Yes.
two is, I also believe people who have the gifts, right? I believe in fivefold ministry, of course.
Mm-hmm.
With the prophet, apostles, prophet, teachers, evangelists, right? And ministers. And
Okay.
so I think a lot of us have gifts that we're not aware of or we haven't tapped into. And so we don't understand the spiritual side that goes with the natural side. So sometimes what is happening is the spiritual side is being affected, but because we're so natural, we're so carnal, we don't even realize that that's what being affected. So when we go into a depression, if you understand what I'm saying, okay, so for me, like, I
Yes.
know I'm an intercessor, I know I'm a prophetic intercessor, but some would call me an empath, right? You'll call me an empath, and
Okay.
which means I feel other people. I I empathize with people. I feel their emotions
Yes.
when they're sad. I can feel people. And also, you pour out so much of yourself that it drains you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about that, Angela? Like, when
Yeah.
you go hard, right? You give it
Yeah.
115%. So by the time you get home, you're exhausted because you have
Yeah.
drained yourself. So you need that time to regroup and
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, and get your
Yes.
energy back. And
Yes.
sometimes we don't do that. And so you do go down into a depression, if that makes sense.
No, it really does, and I definitely get that. And one of the things too is that I keep reminding myself, and this is for anybody out there. Number one, let me first say this, Kiva, because this is the problem I feel like with a lot of people. I know that it is hard to trust people. I do know that. I've
Yes.
been burned, so trust
Mhm.
me, I understand that
Hello?
part. However,
Right.
don't get
Mhm.
to a point where you can't never say what's going on with you because you scared about what somebody else gonna say or what they're gonna think. Let me help everybody out. Ain't none of y'all perfect, okay? Y'all
Mm.
make
Okay.
mistakes. Y'all are fallible, period. So as long
Absolutely.
as you start to really understand that that is truly something that you are, then you're able to what I call setting the bar lower, where you don't have to
Mhm.
feel like, oh, I'm embarrassed if I say, yeah, I tried it, but I ended up having to go back to work for a little while, make me some money, then I'm gonna just try to, get back and
Absolutely.
regroup again. See, people
Yes.
don't want to say that. They want to act like they're doing so big and they so great. And that's why a lot of times too, when you're what I have realized is, I used to always say when I first started in this industry, fake it till you make it, right? But in
Yeah.
in reality, that can hinder and hurt you more than anything, because
That's
when
true.
it doesn't work out, again, you look at that as failure.
Yes. That's true. Very true. Also, you said something very good when you said that a lot of people don't trust people, right? And
Yeah.
mostly because we don't trust ourselves. Let's just be for real. Because we
Amen.
because we've made decisions, like you said, we put our trust
Yes.
into, oh, I know this is gonna work. I like that person. That's a good person right there. I know them. You know what I'm saying? They not, and they end up disappointing you, or they end up
Yes.
hurting you, or whatever the situation. It just didn't
Yes.
work. And so what happens is continually being let down then
Yeah.
affects how you believe about yourself. Well, maybe I'm not as good as,
Yep.
good as
Yep.
picking people as I thought. Cause shoot, I just
Yes.
knew, or maybe I don't. Maybe I'm not a good business person. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not so good financially. Not necessarily. I don't think that's true. I think that with everything there's a lesson, just like you said. I and I
Yes.
also believe that everybody gets used, don't get misused. Does it make sense?
Amen. I love that. Yes. Yes,
And
because
so what I
everybody
mean,
needs each other to some extent.
everybody needs each other to some extent. Think
Yes.
about it. We
Yes.
were on the phone the other day with a mutual friend, were we not? And
Yes. Yes.
that person lifts you up with laughter anytime that
Yes.
you're in a situation. Am I right? Okay, so
Yes.
to a person
Yes.
who may think negative, they may say you use her to help you get out of your situation. To you, you're like, that's my buddy because she keeps me laughing, right? So
Yes.
we can look at it like I'm using you. We all have a motive for why we do something. It doesn't mean it's a
Amen.
bad motive. It
Amen.
doesn't mean it's
Right.
malice, but we have
Right.
intention on why we deal with people. Let's just be for real.
Yes.
Like I love
Yes.
Angela because she smiles all the time. She's the happiest person I know. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it doesn't mean I'm using her. No,
That's right.
no, but she
That's
does
right.
bring something to my life that I need. Now, when it
Yes.
becomes abuse, when it comes
Yes.
mistreatment, when it becomes malice and intentional, that's when it's misuse. And I think
Yes.
that's where we get it wrong.
I love that you said that, because that's just like confrontation, right? When we think about the
Yes.
word confrontation, automatically we
Hmm.
think negative, and all confrontation means just to have a conversation.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
A
So at the end of the
conversation,
day,
a
yes.
discussion. Yes. A conversation. Now the question is, do you know how to have a conversation without taking it too far? You know what I'm saying? Or do you know how to
Yes.
have a confrontation or a conversation without being offended or defensive?
Yes.
Because that's where it comes
Yes.
in at, right? Like,
Yes.
why are you
Yes.
offended at what I'm saying? I have to tell people all the time, like,
Yes.
I'm only responsible for what comes out of my mouth. I'm not
Yes.
responsible for how you receive it.
You better
And once
say
I
it.
learned that, Angela, I was okay. Because
Yes.
people will make you feel like you always saying, you're always doing something wrong and you're always this
Yeah.
and that. And you're like, I did not even mean it like that. What? How did you
Yes.
take it like that?
We
So,
listen, this just happened to me just the
mm-hmm,
other day. And honestly, I was actually giving a compliment, but because I was given, listen, I'm a storyteller, so I love to set the scene, right? And get it all
mm-hmm,
ready. But before I made one little comment and they took it all to the left and the right. I was looking like, but what I have learned in that, I don't get upset about that anymore. And let me tell you why. Because what's not going to ever happen to me, as much as I can prevent it, I cannot make beat myself up for things that you're taking to the extreme.
exactly,
Because what I'm learning is
exactly,
people have their own issues and thoughts about themselves. So sometimes when you
absolutely,
come with something just general, they want to say, what you say? You was talking about me, this and that, and it's not like that.
right,
Well, I used to get devastated when people misunderstood
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Now I'm just like, girl, bye. It's just gonna be what it's gonna be, and that's the end of that. Because look, when I
Absolutely.
hit 50 at half a century, you just don't have time to play games you played when y'all was in high school. Well, I didn't even play these kind of games even in high school. So I'm just on a whole, mindset thing, because that could cause you to get depressed when you feel like you're hurting everybody that you talk to. Because some people
That's
just
right.
can't handle, anything you say, any
Absolutely.
truth, anything that come out your mouth, they be mad.
That's what I'm saying. They have that spirit of offense or spirit of defense, right?
Yes.
And so you like, listen, because again, I tell people, I know my heart. I'm not
Yes.
ever saying anything to hurt people. I'm sorry if it
Yes.
came off a little brash or, the tone wasn't what you
Yes.
expected. I don't know how else to say it. I really don't. I'm just being
Yes.
me. So I
Yes.
apologize if you took it that way. However, I'm not apologizing
Yes.
for what I said. Does that make sense?
Especially if I know I didn't offend. And that is where
Especially, yes.
people please without knowing that that's what they're
Yes.
doing. Cuz I was
Yes.
big on that. Like, I just always want to
Me
see
too.
everybody happy. So I always feel
Yes.
like there's something I can do to make that happen. That's not the case. So there have been times when, I've been accused of, oh, she just a know-it-all, this and that. Well, here's the thing. It's not that I'm a know-it-all, but I do research a lot of stuff. So when we have conversations, I do be in the know about a lot of stuff, but that's because I study the stuff. So if it's something that I know and I have knowledge of, I'm gonna speak to it. And if I correct, just because it could, if especially if it's something I know, I'm not gonna correct anybody if it's something I gotta look up myself. But on something that I know, I'll let you know. Well, no, let me tell you what I found out and what I know and this and that. People, again, I can't get upset anymore about who takes offense when you know you haven't offended. But
That's right.
again, that's
That's
also
right.
because I stopped people pleasing, because that was
Hmm.
a big deal for me. Like, I would take that in and be devastated for weeks, thinking that I hurt somebody and didn't, and that wasn't my intention, or trying to really, I'd be wanting to say, no, you gotta see me. That's not what I meant. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, what am I
Yes.
over here stressing myself for?
Right.
If you don't see me,
Absolutely.
you don't see me.
I tell this story, like my testimony, all the time. Like, when I was younger, I was very bold and very vocal, right? You
Hmm.
self-centered when you're young and things like that. So I just would speak
Yes.
my truth. I would just speak my mind. And so, everybody
Yes.
would tell me, oh my God, you don't have to say it like that. It's the way you say it. You don't have to say it like that. And I was like, how am I saying it? And so
Yeah. Yeah.
what I would do, me being the person that I am, I watch people behavior when you're around me, right? So I watch if I say
Hmm.
something to you, if you cringe or if you flinch or, so I was
Yes.
like, I'm hurting
Yes.
people with my words, right? So I went
Yeah.
all the way to the left and became passive. I became passive
Okay.
aggressive and I allowed people to start walking over me and talking to me any kind of way because I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I didn't want to come off as mean. I
Yeah.
didn't want to come off as rude. And I got sick,
Yeah.
Angela. Like, literally got sick. And I could not
Yeah.
eat. I could not digest food. All my food would come back
Oh,
up. Water would come back
wow.
up. I had a blockage in my throat, literally in my throat. And what God told me was, if you don't speak your truth, you're going to die. I mean, like, literally die.
Mm.
And so
Mm.
what that taught me was, first of all, find balance. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to say it and there's a
Yes.
way to get the,
Yes.
just find balance in
Yes.
between the two. You don't have to be all the way right and you don't have to be all the way
Right.
wrong either.
Right.
But at the same time, don't shut yourself down because other people, I mean, people are always going to have their opinions. And I love
Yeah.
that saying now more than ever. I think I say it more now than ever. People that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't
Amen.
matter. And that's the truth. You
Amen.
know what I'm saying?
I
Because
love
the most
that.
important people to your life, the most important people in your life, they know you. They know
Yes.
you. They know how
Yes.
you speak. They know
Yes.
how you feel. They know your heart. They know if you're malice or
Yes.
vicious or not. Those other people who are thinking those things or taking it that way, they need to heal. They
Yes.
need to heal.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, that's so good that you said it, because we're gonna get ready to go on a break. I definitely give me 1 second. I just want to make sure. Yes, we're gonna be taking a break, and during that break, we're gonna either watch a movie trailer or music. Brent, you got me covered, right? You got me covered, right? But before we do take the break, before we do take the break, I want to be able to say that I'll never forget that there was a time, like literally, because of experiences I've had, especially like when I used to, be in the workplace, I would
Mhm.
literally go to work and I would make sure I kind of dumb myself down, or, not dress up as much. I
Mhm.
didn't, I
Yeah.
wasn't as vocal because I would be scared that I would offend somebody, because it became
Worried
a point
about who
where,
was gonna be offended.
yeah,
Mhm.
because I would end up being a double-edged sword. They'd be like, "Oh my God, I love you. I love your energy. It is so wonderful," until that energy gets a
Yeah.
lot of attention. And then when it
Yes.
gets a lot of attention, it becomes a threat to those that, and
You're
even
doing
if you
too
ain't
much. Why
even
you gotta do all that? Why you gotta come to work dressed like that? It's just work. Like where you going? To the club?
every,
You know.
and listen, I'm not a dresser, so that wasn't even my forte. But they would be like, I mean, they always coming around, they always want to have a conversation with you. Why are you talking to executives? Why are you this and
Mhm.
that? And
Mhm.
my thing was, I talk to everybody. But the funny
Yes.
thing is, one day this lady did, she helped me with that. She said, "You're actually disrespecting God. He created you for greatness, and so
Wow.
you're gonna
I love
you're
it.
gonna bury that talent because somebody else is offended." When the thing is, what he
That's the
gave
way
you
he made you.
innately.
Yes.
Exactly. It just, that wasn't how he made somebody else. There is only one A Fox. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
I'm quirky.
Mhm.
I'm a big nerd, but I do love to smile, and I do try to look at the brighter side of everything. So again, that's where the comparison thing goes into, just life, because you're thinking that you want to be what you think somebody else is, when that's not your lane. And the only reason they're great in
Exactly.
that particular lane is because that's what they're created for. Now, I wouldn't be able to come and do what you do, Dr. Akiba. I'm not the professional. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, as long
Mhm.
as you know that, then I think that people should end up, they'll end up having that mutual respect.
We would hope so. Yes, ma'am.
That's true.
We
That
hope
is true.
so
But
that
listen,
people would know.
we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk to Dr. Kiba. We're gonna get into stress, anxiety. How can we overcome it? Give us one moment. This is station identification. I've always wanted to say
All
that,
right.
Kiba. Okay.
It's when you decide to live your life the Bible way. You're going to be tempted to go back to your old ways.
I'm scared.
God didn't give you the spirit of fear. This is your journey, and I can't do it for you. I thought I told you to stop bringing that foolishness around my house. And I only want what's best for you. Somebody call 911, please. Oh my God, somebody help us. Oh, oh Lord. Lord, I can't do this one. I can't do this one, Lord.
We are back. Let me tell you, we are back. Let me tell you, when I say Amethyst on Fire TV is off the chain, it is off the chain. Of course, that is home of the Angela Foxworth Show, but we have some of the best original content out there. You know, the trailers that you're seeing, all you have to do, look at that banner going across the screen, www.aoftvroku.com. That's Amethyst on Fire TV Roku.com. That's all you got to do. Listen, I think I don't want to quote or nothing like that, but listen, they better get in where they fit in before the prices go up so they can get in, to the network. It has been on sale, but because the content has just exploded, that price point ends up going up. You know what I mean? But it is definitely you gotta have it. If you have look, if you got Hulu, you got Tubi, you need Amethyst on Fire TV on Roku. Okay. So I just wanted
Awesome.
to make sure to
Awesome.
say that yes, got some great content, great musicians. You talking about bringing music back? We are doing just that. So I'm excited. But Kiva, we are definitely living in times where people are worrying about everything. And even though, we try to say, oh, everything is fine and we're good, there are a lot of people struggling with anxiety right now.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
What is
Hmm.
going on?
Well, as we said about depression, so anxiety for me is the opposite, right? It's your present tense. So what that means is you're worried about what's going to happen. You're thinking about what could happen. You're worried,
Yeah.
will I be able to pay the bills? Will I be able, is this going to work out? Am I going to get this job? Da, da, da. Am I going to. So that's where
Yes.
anxiety comes from, right? We're not present. We are in the future
Yes.
tense now. I mean, not present tense, but future tense. And so,
Okay.
absolutely, life is lifing. As we know, most people right now, life is doing a thing. We're in a recession. Let's just be for real.
Yes.
Everything has gone up post COVID.
I mean,
Food,
for
housing,
real.
rent,
Okay.
everything is just
Yes.
through the roof, and all of us are like, okay, how I'm gonna make it off what I make now, right?
Yeah.
We were barely making off of, or most of us were barely possibly making it off of
Yes.
what you were making then. And so everybody is strained and stretched to the max. Not only that, but I mean, you know, life is just doing a number right now, especially with a recession. And so
Yeah.
everybody is feeling the pressure of that. And so a
Mhm.
lot of people are experiencing anxiety for a lot of reasons right now. And again, we're going into the holiday season, so that does not help, right?
Right.
How am I gonna get the kids these things they want and still pay the bills? How are we gonna do this and this? And so for me, when I help clients with anxiety,
Hmm.
I'm more of a holistic type approach. I do
I
believe
love
in
that.
psychotropic medication. However, if you don't have a significant diagnosis where you need that, I do take a holistic approach. And what I do is I require that my clients get ashwagandha,
Oh wow.
reishi,
Okay. I've seen that
reishi
before.
mushrooms, mm-hmm,
Okay. Okay.
reishi mushrooms, and what else? Take vitamin D and
Okay. Now,
magnesium
Kiba, with
every
them
day.
mushrooms, is them the mushrooms that be causing hallucinations?
Not the good high mushrooms.
Okay.
Not
Wait a
the
minute.
good high
What's they called
mushrooms.
so I know I don't get set up?
Reishi, Reisha, I believe, reishi
Okay.
mushrooms. And
Okay.
so, I take them for focus. Like I don't have it up here with me, but I have a, a, a concoction that I take. It's in one pill though. It's the
Okay.
ashwagandha, the maca, MACA, and the
I
mushrooms
take
all in
that.
one.
Yes, I do.
And
I put that in my protein
okay,
shake.
in my protein shake or my coffee, right? And it definitely
Yes.
helps me focus. It gives me energy all throughout the day. I don't
Okay.
have that crash and burn, after
Yeah.
lunch thing. It really
Yes.
helps me. but most of all, like I said, it really helps me focus because I know I
Oh,
can get distracted very easily, especially with phones and social media. I go on off into another la la land, and it
yeah,
really helps
yeah.
me. But there's also another thing called focus that's really good as well.
Okay,
FOCUS, and you can get that almost in any store as well. What else? So I have them
okay.
journal. I have them.
Yes, I think that is so important. I used to think it was corny, but
Yeah.
honestly, when you write down your thoughts, I'm
Yeah.
looking at stuff that I said a couple of years ago. And the funny thing is, you know
Mm-hmm.
how, God says, write the vision, make it plain. Um,
Yes.
a lot of the things that I wrote about and that I was feeling, I'm experiencing right now today. And
Absolutely.
it blows
Because
my mind.
yeah. I tell people the life you spoke yesterday is the life you live today, right? The words you spoke
Amen.
yesterday is the life you live today because the
Yes.
power of your power of words is in life is in your tongue, right?
That's
I'm
right. That's
paraphrasing.
right.
But and so life and death is in the power of your tongue. So that means what you
Yes.
speak comes to fruition. So that's why you have to be
Yes.
also mindful of what comes out of your mouth. So absolutely. So the words you spoke yesterday is the life you're living today. So that's why you have to speak what you want. That's another way also to go back and get those things that you think you lost in the past
Amen.
because we
Ooh,
probably were speaking things over ourselves that you didn't even
yes.
realize. Oh, I just suck. Oh, I'm just no good at this. Oh, dot dot dot
Yes.
dot dot, right? And you want to know why
Yes.
it didn't work. And let's just be for real when
Yes.
we talk about those trust issues again, right?
Yeah.
Like, were you really believing that that thing was going to happen?
You
Or
better
in the
say
back of
it.
your mind,
You
was you subconsciously
yes.
waiting for the shoe to drop, waiting
Yes.
for it to fall apart because everything else has fallen apart before? So we have
Yes.
to think about that as well. Our belief system contributes to all of this.
Mm. And that is so true. Because let me tell you what is so funny about, where I'm at today as opposed to where I was. I am so thankful because I realized I was canceling your thoughts, and your words cancel out what you've already spoken. So what would happen is, they say in the spirit realm, anytime you pray something, it's yes and amen. As long as it lines up with the will of God, it's a
Yes,
done data. So if your words have that, but then you take it back, then it constantly
that's it.
stays in delay
That's it.
mode, and you're never able to receive that. When I tell you, I am an example, and I want to encourage somebody out there today. I am living in the season where he is giving me back the years that the cankerworm took.
Yes, yes.
Everything that I hoped for and wanted has come to pass in this season.
Wow.
Now, you
Wow.
have to know the seasons you're in, which
Mhm.
also will help with depression, especially if you're a person that believe in God. Now, I can't tell everybody else, what they believe. There are, tangible things the world to give you, but for those that do believe, there's just one thing about that word. In the dark times and in the light, you're going to be blessed. That's why they say, count it all joy,
That's
because
right.
had he given these blessings to me, the ones I have today,
Then,
if I hadn't got them maybe
mhm.
4 years ago, child, bye,
Right.
I would have been straight up even. So I'm so
Okay.
thankful. Right. Okay. So I'm thankful that now I'm grounded, and I actually know what I need to do as it relates to the gifts that he's given me.
Mhm. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Everything is a lesson if we learn to see it that way, you know,
Yes.
and not look at it as, oh, I lost or I'm this, I'm that. And like
Yeah.
I say, and one thing that helped me, Angela, what you said was good. One thing that helped me though is when I found out that the devil cannot do or the adversary cannot do anything to me unless he gets permission.
Mm, that's
He
good.
cannot, he's not
That's
allowed to do
good.
anything to me unless he gets permission from God. So guess what that means? That means it's working for my good. That means that
Amen.
God has a plan for it. He's allowing
Yes.
you to go through this trial for a purpose so that
Amen.
he can stretch you and grow you so you can get to your next point because you wouldn't have learned it otherwise. Right?
Amen. Amen. Yeah, because some of us, look, I know I'm a knucklehead. I said sometimes The Lord be like, you know why I got a sense of humor because of you, sister Foxworth. Because if I have to deal with you, boy, I wouldn't have no. Because boy, let me come up with an idea for myself. The Lord be over there just laughing. He like my daughter, boy. I tell you, she gonna get it
I
together
tell
one
you,
day.
listen. He told me because one day I think I came up with something, or I thought I did, right? And he said, your imagination, you ain't that good. That's what he told me. You ain't that good.
I love
I
it.
know you think you did that on your own, but you ain't that good.
You better
Look. I had to
say
humble
it.
myself
You
real
better
quick.
say
Like,
it.
oh Lord, I'm sorry,
Won't he?
cause
Look,
we
he
think
will
we
do that. He
do
talk
it,
about won't he do it? He will. He definitely
cause
be telling me
we want to give ourselves credit so bad.
we do.
No, no,
We
it's
do.
God, all God, honey.
We
Yes,
do. Yes, yes. And thank God for that. And again, but those high expectations sometimes that we have for ourselves when we don't meet it, then again, that falls into anxiety, depression, worried about everything,
yes,
being
absolutely.
stressed to the max. Like you
Yes,
said, journaling, and you gave us some natural remedies, relationship wise. How do you deal with stress, anxiety, mental health, and dealing with people because you got to deal with people on some kind of level.
absolutely, you do. I mean, I hope you do. Anyway, let me say that.
Yeah,
I know we have more isolation now than ever before. You know what I'm saying? With
yeah,
working from home and everything is
yes,
instant and delivered. You know what I'm saying? We're getting away from human touch. We're getting away
yeah,
from
yeah,
companionship, right? And that's so important. We
yes,
need that. We need that in our life in order to heal. I mean, human touch is healing, and
yes,
I think that the fact that we're so isolated is contributing to a lot of these anxieties and depression as well
yeah,
because we're isolated. And when you're alone
yeah,
and all you have is your, like TD Jakes, your stinking thinking thoughts, that's all you
yes,
have to rely on, then
yes,
yes, you're going to work yourself into a frenzy. Let's just be for real because
yes,
all you have to
yes,
rely on is yourself. You have to
yes,
communicate, you have to congregate with other beings, other people to
yes,
to to not only just have conversation but to just
mhm,
get a different experience, right? And
yes,
um to bring something else in, to open your eyes, to broaden your
yes,
vision, to broaden your narrative. Like I think that sometimes we have gotten so closed, I don't want to say closed minded, but maybe that's it, closed minded, that
mhm,
we're not allowing new things to come into our life so we
correct.
can grow and stretch. And
Yeah,
so that is contributing as well. I can truly say that even for like seniors,
yeah,
like my mother-in-law is over
yeah,
80, post COVID, a lot of things changed. She's not able to go work out like she used to, go to the gym, do her
yeah,
senior activities. So she feels that. I see that in her. I see the struggle that she has not being around her
yeah,
peers, not being able to socialize, right? Same thing
yes,
for kids.
yes,
Think about it. No
yep,
socialization. They're at home, they're on the computers, they're on the phones. The social skills are leaving. There's isolation. So
yes,
guess what happened? You in this room all day, these same four walls, you're going to feel like you're suffocating at some point. Depression is going
yeah,
to kick in. Anxiety is going to
yeah,
kick in because your thoughts are running wild in your head. So we have to get out. We have to get fresh
yes,
air. We need to drink enough water. We need to sleep properly. We need to eat proper.
yes,
All these things are important. They didn't just
yes,
used to say this stuff when we grew up for nothing. It's the
yes,
truth. You really need
yes,
proper nutrition. You need to
you
sleep
do.
right. You need to drink lots of water. We don't think
Yes,
about that. And you need to get fresh air. Those things contribute
yes.
to what is happening in the body and the brain.
I tell you what, that is so good because a lot of times, when you're unhealthy, you get brain fog, which is how you think. And so a lot of times that's where you don't have your clarity, your motor skills. It
That's
affects
right.
that.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
it
And the
does.
rest part is so important. You have got to decompress. I don't care how busy I get, I give myself at least one day a week to just chill and do absolutely nothing. Sometimes a couple of days, but don't, I'm not saying that to my clients or anything. But sometimes I do because
I
and
do.
I try to press to get my 6 to 8 hours in a day of rest, sleep, because that is super important. You can't recharge and be ready for the next day if you're dragging. And I've been
Always.
dragging, the last couple of days because of the weather changes and different things. So I haven't
Mhm.
been getting
Mhm.
my full 6 hours, but I try to make sure those are the things that I do every day. And if I don't get a chance to get to my gym, which is Mike Lugo's boxing, if the days lately I've been in the studio and I've been grinding, so I haven't been able to make it out there, but I try to get my 80 ounces of water in a day. Because that's what I was
Mhm.
tasked with my nutritionist. She said she needs to see 80 ounces of water a day. And so there's just so many things that I do try to hone in on, even if you can't do everything, all in one fell swoop. Just start taking baby steps in those areas
Yes.
that are,
Yes.
that can really help you. And I want to tell our audience too, y'all. You definitely can write if you have any questions for Dr. Green. If there's anything you want to comment about mental health, or any questions about any of these things, or just want advice on how to feel better if you just feel like you're in a rut, can't get yourself out of that rut, you can definitely send us a message. And even after this, if we see the message, Kiva, I'll send it to you. If somebody, because
Okay.
sometimes they have to watch it in the replay.
The
So when
replay.
they watch it in the replay,
Mhm.
they'll start, putting comments. And when they do, I'll make sure to get them to you for anybody that is out there struggling. Because the other part of being on that island by yourself, an idle mind is truly the devil's playground. And so teen suicide has gone up in the last 2 years.
Mhm.
Teen suicide.
Mhm.
And so I
Mhm.
say that to say so many people feel like they are by themselves. But
They really
if
do.
you took the time to really talk to people, sometimes, especially those that you can trust, you will realize we all have the same thoughts. We sometimes all have the same insecurities. There's
Yes.
always something that we're struggling with. It's just how you handle those struggles is
That's
the
it.
only
That's
difference
it.
between staying depressed and being anxious. I try not to worry about too much. I'm not gonna never say I don't worry. I'm more concerned than anything because I just don't want that to affect me. If I get too worried, then I'm not trusting what God gonna do. And there's some things that I just got to let Him handle and get out the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. I totally agree. I don't consider myself a worry warrior, at either. Some
Yeah.
things that just take you there, let's just be for real. But for the most part, I am an advocate.
Yes.
I really try to stand on, I trust God. I trust God. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And if I'm saying that, then I have to live that. That's just I really try to walk
Amen.
that out. But it's something I'm
Yes.
not act like I'm just not. I listen,
Yes.
some things take
No,
you
I've
there, and
had
that
to,
can be
because
them
honey, I was
children.
walking.
Them
I
children,
was.
look.
You do. You do. You do. And
Yeah,
everybody's watching. And sometimes they're watching to see if you know what you're gonna do, because sometimes they just need to know that they can trust you. And if you're somebody that can tell somebody what to do, but you're not living what you tell them, then
that's right.
that's
Mhm.
hypocrisy. And people won't be
Absolutely.
able to get healed like that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You said something that was really good about the anxiety too. I forgot what it was. I'll come back to it, but I definitely
Okay.
suggest, like you said, the journaling and
Yes.
take a nap. I'm a nap person. Like I can take a nap every day.
Yeah.
Take a nap.
Yes. Yes.
Why are we so afraid to go to
Well,
sleep?
listen,
People
does
be like,
falling asleep
I'm
at
not
work
a nap
count?
person.
My
You know
bad.
what?
Look, my bad.
Look, look, you gotta make sure the
Did I
job is
say
not watching. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Make sure the job is not watching.
that? Right, right. No, but I'm telling you, sometimes if you don't get no sleep, you will find yourself sitting at a computer like,
Oh
you know
no!
what I
Oh my
mean?
God! Just staring at the same sentence for two
Cor-
hours. Like I haven't got anything
exactly.
accomplished today. Mhm.
Exactly. So I would love for you, Kiba. We've talked about overcoming the stress. So, and trying to deal with the anxiety, but we all know that grief is definitely tough. And with all of these things, tragedies are happening all day, every day. Sometimes now you turn on the news and you just pray just to see weather sometimes now because it has just gotten so bad. How do you help someone in grief? Because grief is so final. And I think that pe- there, I don't feel like you'll ever get over losing someone, but I know that there are definitely things that you can manage your life to where you feel a lot better.
Absolutely. So when I have clients dealing with grief, the first thing I tell them is celebrate their life with something that they would do, right? Or in a way
Yes.
that they would appreciate you. Like, I mean, if they were a person who gave to the, who gave to the homeless or something, go down and feed
Hmm.
the homeless, go do a feed, soup kitchen or
Hmm.
something like that. Or if they like knitting, go to a
Yes.
knitting class, something to remember them in a positive way and just to
Amen.
keep their memory and keep that love alive of what you feel for them and what you miss about them. I tell
Yes.
people all the time, I'm probably not the grief therapist. I think I am. But I tell people that I'm
Hmm.
probably not the grief therapist because I probably don't come across very sympathetic or empathetic because
Hmm.
I'm a person, Angela. I just had this conversation the other day on another interview. Like, I live my
Hmm.
life. So I'm not
Yeah.
afraid to die. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. So I
Yeah.
I
Yes, it
don't
does.
I don't I don't mourn. I don't and please believe me, I have people that I miss truly who have left this earth.
I know
But
exactly what you're saying.
I
Yep.
don't mourn that. Do you see what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
I lived while they were here, and I told them I loved them, and I said what I needed to say to
Yeah.
them, and I gave them their flowers while they were here. So I don't have that feeling of doom and
Yeah.
gloom or or where I'm sitting missing now. I have lost a parent. I was gonna say most people and their parents is different. I have lost a
Yeah.
parent. I've lost my father.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Mhm.
I'm just different like that. I can't tell
Yeah, and I
anybody how
think
to
too, it
grieve. Let me
also
tell you
goes to
this.
your belief. I was
Yeah,
just gonna say
yeah.
real
So
quick, it also goes to your belief system.
absolutely. So I don't tell people how long to grieve. Don't let anybody tell you how long to grieve. Don't let people tell you, get over it. I don't think that's fair. I think that people grieve
No.
in their own time and they do it the way that they do it. You know what I'm saying? And as your emotions
Yes.
come up, feel them, experience them so you can go ahead and get it out. The more we try to push it down and act like I don't feel this or I shouldn't feel this way, the worse they're going to get, right? And so when
Yes.
your emotions come up, because I hear people say all the time, I just have these bouts where I just bust out crying because I miss someone, or I'll just get
Yeah.
sad. Feel what you're feeling. Be
Yes.
okay with that, and be
Yes.
okay in the moment. Deal with it, and then move on. Don't let it get you
Yeah.
to a place where you stay there. Don't stay
Yeah.
in that emotion because that's when it goes
Yes.
into depression and other mental health issues.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that you said that, and I know for some people that's easier said than done.
Then done.
I'm,
Yeah,
truly feel the
yeah.
same way. I was telling my family that recently. I said, listen, y'all, if anything ever happens to me, anytime soon, just know I died happy because
That's
I
right.
have done more things in my life that some people will never get the opportunity to do. And I said
Absolutely.
that even though I used to look at the stuff that I did as like low level, oh, because I'm not Oprah, I used to look at it like, oh, yeah, I ain't really doing nothing. But you know
Right.
what? I've accomplished quite a bit with,
Mhm.
the dream that I had. And the dream that I had was that I wanted to be a talk show host. And that is exactly what I am. So,
What you doing? Exactly.
yes, exactly what I'm doing. So and it's this kind of thing that if I never made a dime off of this, I still love doing it, and a lot of
Mhm.
people can't say that they actually get to work their passion and their dreams. So,
Very much
I
so.
and I want to encourage somebody out there to, count that joy because again, you might have, levels that you want to get to, but never shun humble beginnings because this is where it all starts and this is where elevation takes place. And, as I continue evolving, I have, some celebrity interviews that are coming up that I'm just super duper excited about. But, a lot of times, people feel like that's the only way you're valid is if you have celebrities. But I
Right,
like
right.
these kind of shows where we're helping people
Mhm.
really get what
The
they need.
everyday
So
person. You're helping the everyday
yes,
person get what
yes,
they need.
yes,
Yeah.
which is me. I'm the everyday person, okay? And I say it all
Absolutely.
the
And I
time.
mean, and it's balance. It's balance. And you don't have to be
Amen.
known as the, the celebrity interviewer. You know what I'm saying? She's the person
Yes,
that
yes,
interviews people from, from the janitor to the I don't
yes,
know, to the
yes.
journeyman. You know what I'm saying?
All
And
the
she does a
stars.
great
You
job
hear
doing
me?
it. Yeah, yeah. So, and she
Yes,
does a great job doing
yes.
it. So people will enjoy that, and they don't have to always say, "Oh, I wonder what celebrity she's gonna have on now," because we get enough of that on everything else.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. So, listen, Dr. Kiba, I thank you so much for being a part
Thank
of the show. I
you.
cannot believe it's like 4 minutes left. I mean, we already at the end. I'm about to cry.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
I'm telling you, yes, but please tell our audience, how they can get in contact with you. And if you want to leave them a nugget, go right ahead.
Awesome. So you can reach me at www.bett-r.life, better life.
Love it.
Um, you can reach me on social media, IG at Professor PORF.K Green, or Facebook Kiba Richmond Green, the number two, because I have two profiles and one was hacked. So make sure you go to the number
Gotcha.
two so I can get it.
Gotcha.
And I respond. I ain't so big that I don't respond to the comments or your questions in the
Yes.
inbox. DM me, and I'll definitely try to help you. If I can't help you, I'll definitely refer you to someone who can.
I love it. Thank you so much, sis, for being a part of the show. And you
Thank
guys,
you
you
for
know
having
how
me.
we do. Listen, it is all about education, motivation, and inspiration. I am so excited to have
Absolutely.
closed out another show for tonight. So, listen, if you want to continue following the Angela Foxworth Show, just make sure you check me out on Facebook. It's the Angela Foxworth Show and Angela Foxworth. On Instagram, it's at Angela Foxworth TV or The Real A Fox. Or when all else fails, just go to www.theafoxshow.com. And don't forget, Amethyst on Fire is the home of the Angela Foxworth Show. So you definitely want to download your app and check us out. We have the bomb content. If you want a good show, a good original content, great music, great talk shows, listen, that's where you need to be. So remember, until I see you guys again, life with a fox is truly living outside the box. And I am always interviewing with a purpose. You guys have an
I love that.
absolutely wonderful week. And I will see you. Well, actually, tonight is Thankful Thursday. I'll see you tonight on the A Fox after the show, which is Unzipped
Hey,
Conversations. Yes, with my boy Mark 11. And tonight we're going to be getting down. Listen, we're closing out the end of this year, Kiva, with a bang. So if you're trying to watch Unzip, just go to my socials. You'll be able to see me, get the information.
okay,
It's on a Zoom. We keep it private because we talk
okay.
some raw controversy. Okay, none of this
Wow.
mainstream stuff. I love it. And that's why
Okay.
it's called unzipped, because we like to
I
unzip
love
the
that.
information.
I love that. I love that. Okay, I'll have to
Yes,
join
so
y'all
9 o'clock,
over there. All right.
huh? I would
Nine
love for
o'clock
you to be a
p.m.
part of that.
9.
Yes, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. You'll get the Zoom link, click on it, and then boom, you'll be right there. So we'll look forward to seeing you and talking to you tonight.
All right. Thank you for having me. All right.
Thank you for
Y'all have a
being
good
on the
evening.
show. I truly appreciate it. All
You're
right, y'all have a
welcome. You're
good
most welcome.
evening.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.